Hello, welcome to another edition of the VOD Weekly News Recap. I am Glorious Haddijatou Njie. Good evening. Now let's look at the headlines. $100,000 clothing allowance, 45,000 salary for NAMS. First batch of Gambian girls returned from Oman. President Barrow receives 5 foreign diplomats. FGV celebrates its 20 years anniversary. Haddijatou dedicates a song to a Gambian. Algeria faces EU criticism over tense bilateral relations with Spain. Tribal clashes killed at least 145 in Sudan. Over 15,000 sheep sunk after ship sinks in Sudan. Rebels reportedly seized border city in Bunagana in eastern DRC. Senegal opposition vows to hold banned demonstrations. Sudan authorities seize rainbow toys for promoting homosexuality. Hajj Muslim pilgrims face losing out from online booking to Mecca. US urge allies to keep up arms support. Turkey wants concrete steps from Sweden, Finland over NATO bids. Ryanair drops controversial language test. Those were the headlines. Now let's look at the news in details. Members of the 6th legislature have all received a one-off payment of $100,000 clothing allowance, the Standard reports. The payment, which was effective after the new NAMS took oath in mid-April, is said to improve their wardrobe for the duration of their term. This is the first time National Assembly members are benefiting from clothing allowance, a move tabled and adopted by members of the 5th legislature. Foundation Against Trafficking and Irregular Migrations, in collaboration with the families of trafficked Gambian girls, facilitated the repatriation of the first batch of trafficked girls to the Gambia. According to Fatim, these Gambian youth, mostly girls, were trafficked for domestic work in Oman and upon arrival were exposed to hard labor while some experienced harassment. This is to inform the general public that today we have repatriated the first batch of returnees from Oman, a country in the Middle East, mostly girls who are trafficked for domestic work upon arrival. They were exposed to hard labor and some sexual harassment. The hard labor imposed on them without enough rest has caused health complications for most of them. Their return was facilitated and fully funded by the Foundation Against Trafficking and Irregular Migration in collaboration with the victims' families, Fatim explained in a press release. Fatim disclosed that they did not receive any support from the government. His Excellency President Adama Barrow received letters of credence from 5 diplomats on Tuesday, 14th June 2022, at the State House in Banjul. Receiving the letters, President Barrow conveyed his greetings, best wishes, and gratitude to the various heads of state of the Republic of Guinea-Bissau, Mexico, Hungary, Israel, and Rwanda, and congratulated the newly appointed diplomats.
We are very thankful to the government of Gambia for its leadership role in the OIC and in taking the tribunal procedure in the International Court of Criminal Court for the injustice and human rights violation.
On bilateral matters, the Gambian leader shared fraternal sentiments, invoked the need of closeness of cooperation between the Gambia and its partners, referring to the African Continent Free Trade Area Agreement. President Barrow called on the diplomats to explore the trade possibilities and investment in agriculture, education, and technology. On specific issues with Guinea-Bissau, the president pledged to work through ECOWAS to bring stability to Bissau and improve on the challenges in the sub-region regarding terrorists and unconstitutional change of government. FGV celebrates its 20 years anniversary, Haddijatou reports.
High-speed rocket FGV on the 10th June welcomed its fourth legislature ceremony at the Laureate of Entrepreneurs 2022 at the Kairaba Beach Hotel. FGV is a commercial organization supporting the creation, development, and management of micro-enterprises, which was born from BGV High-Speed Office, led by its senior manager Tete Amadouba. During the ceremony, the CEO of FGV, Aliou Dabo, expressed his gratitude to the people that gave him the opportunity to express their creative genesis and make this event a great event.
Je viens dire FGV HMD, Association des imams et oulémas du Sénégal et de la Gambie.
The year 2020-2021 will forever be reminded. It is the year that will have almost completed upset the world with the COVID-19 crisis. For a policy of economic recovery with the FGV and its training to provide work and opportunities, there is hope. The 2022 winner marks a turning point for the combined effects of two major facts: the 20th anniversary of the FGV and the celebration of the winner, 2000 of the year research, 20 years of hard work and 20 years of experience, 20 years without support or resources again. It brings a stone but builds a tomorrow for the nation, Dabo said. During the ceremony, the FGV showed their pride by honoring two glorious women whom are role models for the youths: Sainabou Njie Minister, who hosted the Touch of Gambia around the world, a social cultural monument, and Ami Jaju, who is the CEO of Join Hands to Save a Baby. Aissatou Sow reporting for VOD.
Popular Senegalese Mbalax star Haddijatou on Wednesday called on the Gambian press at the Nero restaurant and gave a briefing regarding his new debut single, dedicated to a Gambian called Lamin Anbai. He said that his debut single in his new album is due to be released soon and said it will be played in the Gambia first. Professor Lamin Anbai is the Gambian with Pan-Africanist scholarship and roots. He received his PhD from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. His research interest includes oral traditions, modern African literature in English and French.
Kóllëre gim am diggante mag Papi Mari te comme Gambien la te mu am cofeel tam pour liggéey ak Gambien si moo tax mu ne kii bàyyi ma puus ko tam jàppale ko ci li muy def ndax ëllëg ak si biir am nañ yaakaar ci moom. In a nutshell, Abdou mënuma leen a wax kan mooy Abdou ci gàttal parce que lan la lu ñëpp ne jeex la, lu ñëpp di gis la, lu ñëpp yëg la. Abdou musician la, a Senegalese born musician. Ndar la juddoo muy Saint-Louis. Abdou at the age of 13 la dugga ci music daanaka pour commencer wéy.
West Africa and South Africa, African and Third World Cinema and Film and African Development. He is the former director and founder of the Center for African Studies. Haddijatou Seka said he named the song after him because of the things he has done for him and the society. Likewise, Lamin's grandfather was a very religious man in Islam. He has done for him and the society. Likewise, Lamin's grandfather was a very religious person and Islam is all that matters to him. He also said that the song is for the Gambians and urged them to take that song wholeheartedly and that he is open for any Gambian artist who wants to work with him. Now let's look at the news across our borders. Spain's economic minister on Monday linked Algeria's decision to break a decade-old friendship treaty with Spain that has frozen economic links with what she described as North African countries' increasing alignment with Russia. In an interview with Catalonia Radio, Nadia Calvino said that in recent International Monetary Fund meeting she has chaired, she noticed that Algeria was more and more aligned with Russia, and as such is the decision. Did not surprise me. Algeria suspended the 2-decade-old friendship treaty with Spain last Wednesday. The move was seen as retaliation after Madrid came out in support of Morocco's attempt to keep Western Sahara under its rule. Algeria supports the territory's independence movement. On Friday, the EU warned it was prepared to take action to defend the interests of its members. Algeria then appeared to do a U-turn when its mission at the European Union issued a statement saying the country has never suspended the treaty. Algeria continues to block trade, however, and the Algerian foreign minister on Saturday called the European response hasty and unfounded in a strongly worded communique. It added that the issue was a political disagreement of the bilateral nature between Madrid and Algeria that should not concern the EU. Tribal clash killed at least 145 in Sudan. Haddijatou Njie reports.
Violence in Sudan resulted in an almost 145 deaths and over 180 wounded this month, according to the United Nations. The tribal crisis occurred in West Darfur and South Kordofan provinces and were described as the deadliest in recent years. According to the UN Office of the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, OCHA, the violence erupted last week between two tribes, one Arab, the other African, over a land dispute. The crisis took place in the wake of October's military coup that marked an end of the country's short-lived demonstration, the short-lived transition of democracy. According to OCHA, the fighting subsided following the deployment of troops in the area. Authorities also declared a nightly curfew last week, but tension remained high. The violence put into question the UN Security Council decision last year to dismantle the joint UN-African Union peacekeeping force mandate in the region. Last time, autocrat Omar al-Bashir was removed from power in April 2019 and has been in prison in Khartoum ever since. Al-Bashir was dictated over a decade ago by the International Criminal Court for genocides and criminal humanity perpetrators in Darfur. Haddijatou Njie reporting for VOD.
More than 15,000 sheep drowned Sunday in the Sudanese Red Sea port of Suakim after the ship carrying them sank, local officials said. Salim Selim, head of the livestock department of the Sudanese Chamber of Exporters, said the ship had been loaded at the port of Suakim, a trading hub for many African countries, some 800 kilometers northeast of Khartoum. Early Sunday, the Berda one bound for Saudi Arabia sank at the port while carrying 15,800 sheep, well beyond its maximum load, said a local official who requested anonymity. According to reporters, the vessel was transporting the animals from Sudan to Saudi Arabia when it sank. The ship was initially had the capacity of accommodating 9,000 animals had been modified to carry 15,000, another port official said. The fear of the possible environmental impact after the drowning of thousands of animals, as well as the disruption of the port activities. 700 ships were able to be pulled out of the sea, although they are in bad conditions, Mr. Salim said. According in the AU environmental program, the Red Sea of the Gulf of Aden region, an increasing being identified as potential climate refuge for coral reef. Omar Al-Khalifa, president of the Sudanese Chamber of Exporters, said the ship took several hours to sink, stressing that the vessel and its cargo could have been saved. The news comes one day after the office of North Kivu's military governor announced the Congolese troops had successfully routed the M23 fighters. The spokesman for the province military government said to Reuters Monday he did not have any information on the M23 takeover. In a flash update on the humanitarian situation in Rutshuru territory Sunday, the UN Office of Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs cities clash in different cities on the outskirts of Bunagana. The UN estimates that over 25,000 people have been forced out of their homes. Over the weekend, Congolese authorities renewed accusations that Rwanda was backing the latest offensive by the rebels. Rwanda has firmly denied providing any support. Bunagana was a main base for the M23 rebels during the 2012 insurrection. Then in 2013, the group agreed to demobilize. Senegalese authorities on Wednesday banned a planned demonstration against the government in Dakar on Friday. but the opposition announced it would override its aimed growing pre-election tension. We maintain our demonstration. There is no legal base for the preferred decision, Halifa Saleh told reporters. An order of the prefect of Dakar invoked the threats of public disorder to justify the ban. It also speaks of the violation of the Electoral Code and its Article L61, which prohibits any disguised propaganda in 30 days, preceding the opening of the election campaign. Tensions are rising after the Constitutional Council invalidates a national list of candidates from the opposition coalition, Yawi Askanwi. This invalidation eliminates from the race the leader of the opposition, Usman Sonko, and a number of opponents of President Macky Sall. The opposition denounced a poll by the presidency to remove its opponents, Mr. Sonko, who came third in the 2019 presidential election and is a declared candidate for the 2024 election, and other leaders have threatened to prevent the election from taking place if Yuri Askin does not participate. The legislative elections are aimed at renewing the 165 deputies in the National Assembly, which is largely dominated by the presidential coalition. Sonko's prosecution in an alleged rape case contributed to several days of rioting in March 2021 that left at least dozens of people killed. The opposition had already gathered thousands of supporters last week in the demonstration that was authorized. The demonstration took place in the festive atmosphere. It had found an unexpected extension 2 days later when the government announced that it had led to the arrest of rebels from Casamance, a region in southern Senegal that has been plagued by an independence struggle for years. The opposition has also denounced this as a ploy by the government to discredit the protests. Now let's look at the international news. Authorities in Saudi Arabia have been seizing rainbow-colored toys and children's clothing, which they claim encourage homosexuality, state TV said. An Al-Ghuraya report showed Commerce Ministry officials removing a range of items from shops in the capital Riyadh, included hair clips, pop-it, t-shirts, hats, and pencil case. One official said the items contradict the Islamic faith and public morals and promote homosexual colors targeting the younger generation. The Commerce Ministry tweeted separately that its terms were confiscated, products that contained symbols and signs calling for deviation and contradicting common sense. Shops found it to be selling them would face legal penalties, it added. In December, authorities in neighboring Kuwait announced that they had confiscated rainbow colors puppets and other toys from shops for bearing slogans that goes against Islamic values. British Muslims hoping to make a pilgrim to Mecca are at risk for losing thousands of pounds after the Sudan government has enforced online booking. Pilgrims have been told to use a website to register their interest and that a draw will take place to choose who will go on Hajj. Some have already booked with Hajj tours operators and could lose their money. Hajj is a religious requirement for all Muslims who can afford it. It is one of the 5 pilgrims of Islam which Muslims around wish to perform. The cost of the ones is in a lifetime trip varies from about £6,000 to more than £10,000, and many Muslims spend years saving up for it. Famida, not her real name, is in her 30s and lives in the northwest of England. She told the BBC she had been waiting to go to Mecca with members of her extended family for 2 years. She had registered her interest with a local travel agent and was very excited about fulfilling an important part of her Islamic faith. Famida said she was heartbroken when she heard that she and her husband would have to book the visit online. It was so upsetting, it actually made us cry, she said. The United States has appealed for Kyiv's backers to supply Ukraine with additional weaponry as it faced down Russia's offensive in the eastern Donbas region. Moscow said it can provide safe passenger for Ukrainian grains shipments from the country's Black Sea port, but is not responsible for establishing any such corridors. Nearly two-thirds of children in the Ukraine have been uprooted by war, and UN officials said. Russia urges Ukrainian parties to surrender Severodvinsk, a strategically important city, saying they should stop their senseless resistance and lay down arms. Turkey's foreign minister said it will take some time to demine Ukrainian Black Sea port, and a safe sea corridor could meanwhile be established in areas without mines under a UN proposal in order to allow for the resumption of Ukraine's grain shipments amid fear of the looming global food crisis. Turkish President Recep Tayyip had said that steps should be taken to address Ankara's legitimate concern over the NATO bid of Finland and Sweden. According to a statement by Turkish Communication Directorate on Wednesday, Tayyip told NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg in a phone call that no progress can be achieved without seeing concrete steps.
See this solved as soon as possible, and therefore we are working hard with our NATO ally Turkey, and also with Finland and Sweden to address those issues that Turkey has raised. And these are legitimate concerns. This is about terrorism, it's about weapons exports.
By both Finland and Sweden, that would meet Turkey's rightful expectations. The step could include written commitments to a program shift in fighting terrorism and defeat industry cooperation, the statement said. Meanwhile, Stoltenberg said on Twitter that he held a constructive conversation with Tayyip ahead of the NATO summit in Madrid that will be held June 29 and 30. We discussed the importance of addressing Turkey's legitimate security concerns on the fight against terrorism and making progress in the NATO accessions progress for Finland and Sweden, he added. Turkish Foreign Minister Metlu also said on Wednesday that Ankara was waiting for a written response from Sweden and Finland to Ankara's objection to their NATO bid. Dublin-based airline Ryanair announced the scrapping of its controversial African language test for South African passengers. The test was introduced as a way to identify passengers with counterfeit passports traveling to UK. Ryanair CEO Michael announced the decision to drop the test on Tuesday. Ryanair does not fly to or from South Africa, but it's Europe's biggest airline, carrying millions of passengers between hundreds of cities every year. Reports of the questionnaire circulating on social media sparked anger amongst many South Africans. Afrikaans is one of South Africa's 11 official languages and is the first language of about 13% of the country's population of nearly 60 million. It is also associated with South Africa's apartheid regime of white major minority rule that ended in 1994. That's all we have for you on this episode of the VOD Weekly News Recap. I am Glorious Haddijatou Njie. Thanks for watching and have a good evening.